So, it's been a long time coming.
It certainly has.
Our first flight together.
For like 7,300. If we can go higher, they let you go.
Gonna tell my kids about it.
Morning, guys. We are here at Fly Nyan in Kearny, New Jersey with the one and only Miss Hatton, Natalie M. Rossi, and we are about to take to the skies high altitude sunrise flight over New York City. Ready?
I'm ready. I love creating. I've been creating my whole life. At a very young age, I was fascinated by being able to kind of freeze a moment in time. I kind of felt like that was my superpower.
And then even if we wanted to, as we're kind of spinning up, like cheat our way a little bit into Brooklyn up the river, so it's kind of changing, so it's not like we have like 12 revolutions of the same shot. And then maybe when we're heading, once we get up to altitude, start to head up the river a little bit more.
East River?
East River?
Okay.
Yeah. And then go to the north side of Central Park, get like the whole kit and caboodle, and then kind of come down. If they let you come down over the Hudson, then we could do some Hudson Yard stuff.
Perfect.
And I definitely want to get a shot of that new little park.
Yeah.
I remember you making the announcement that like, I'm leaving my day job and I'm going into this full time, which around the same time I was going through the same thing myself.
Wow.
What made you want to pick up the camera?
You know, I've always been a creator. Photography's always been a big part of my life. I love taking photos, and one summer, one of my friends was like, hey, you should download this app called Instagram. And I'm like, okay. Downloaded it, I would post some of my photos, and everything kind of just spiraled from there. Honestly, social media really helped push it to become a career. It's crazy to think that my life changed because of that.
You and I, we do similar things. We aerial photography over New York City.
Yeah.
If you're just up there for pure joy, kind of like what we were doing yesterday, where it was just like we were watching the day start from 8,000 feet, right? Tell me what you're looking for.
Every time I fly, it's always a new experience. You always notice something that you haven't seen before. I look for leading lines, I look for different building alignments.
New York has so many different components that change your perspective. But what is always different for me is the light, right?
Light.
So
Absolutely.
light's moving, right? And so why not find a way to frame that with the compositions that we have, especially that time of day, which is why I was so excited we got a sunrise, because I just love it how it kind of, you can see it, and we got just like that right amount of haze.
Yeah, and we were coming from the west side, so we were able to see the sunrise from the east, and it was gorgeous.
You have a long list of interviews and write-ups and things that you've amassed in your career. I won't make you choose your favorite in front of all these cameras. What was that pivotal job that transformed Natalie into Miss Hatton?
I love working with everyone, but I love music. You know, I'm not just an aerial photographer. I shoot other things, and I love shooting live music and artists and festivals.
Yeah, I think that's important. We had a discussion yesterday after our flight just about that. The moment where we had to lean into a little bit of like, okay, if the world is seeing me as an aerial photographer, then I'll hold on to that, but just please know that there's much more to that. And for me, if I didn't shoot weddings, I wouldn't be able to do what I do in a helicopter. You have to be on all the time. And I think the dynamic shooting conditions of a wedding really allow me to be centered when I'm in the helicopter and everything is changing, right? I mean, let's be honest, the first 4 or 5 flights, you're just getting like okay, there's the Empire State Building.
Right.
And then I know like the Flatiron Building is somewhere, but how come it looks so much smaller from up here?
Right.
And like, so, and there's the Chrysler Building, okay. And half the time you're just trying to figure out, like, did I get 2 shots? 3 shots?
Right.
Like you said, you're at a festival, you're at a concert, you have what? If you're at the front line, you have what? 1, maybe 3 songs or something like that they'll let you, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to like, boom, snap the picture and look down and okay, I need to adjust everything and keep it moving to get everything you need. There's a lot more than meets the eye to aerial photography instead of like a helicopter.
Right.
People think we're just hovering in one place and like, you know, it's always moving.
Always.
Sometimes much too fast for us to get the shot, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I got it, and then it's all like shaky and wobbly.
We haven't even talked about when it's cold. I couldn't feel my fingers, my face. I mean, luckily, you know, I get to wear my mask that helped me get me
Kept-
warm.
Okay, so a little behind the scenes convo with our friends at Canon, and they were recounting the story of how you came out to the headquarters at Canon and you had your first image printed there on a Canon printer.
Yep.
And I just want to hear about that experience because it's special, I think.
It's very special. It's game changing. You know, when you're younger and you get your photos developed in, 5x7, it's cool. You put it in albums and you could always kind of go back to that moment. And then now we consume content so fast and we just scroll and scroll and scroll and, it's gone. So something about printing your image really is long lasting and effective and special. So when I was at Canon, they printed one of my aerial photos, and I haven't seen it printed on a larger scale. I was blown away, blown away. I was like, wow, this is art. This is more than just a post.
Right.
Yeah.
There's permanence to
Yeah,
it, right? And
yeah.
there's tangibility to it, right? It's
Yeah.
in your hand.
Yeah, and mind you, I've been taking photos of the city, my whole life. But to have it printed, especially like on a larger scale, breathtaking.
There is an importance to seeing your work, especially as a professional. Like you said, there's this production of content, right? And I think when we use that word content, it takes away from like the emotional and the work that goes into it, like the ownership of it. This is content, I'm just putting it out for you.
Right.
And like you said, scroll, but just the importance of seeing your image printed. It's kind of like, it's like the last step, like you're bringing baby home. Like you put all this time, this planning into creating this image, capturing it just at the right time. I want to be here for this. And you get the shot and it's clean, and then there's everything that happens to make the image an image, right? And now we're taking that final step and transitioning from the image to a photo, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is me. First time I saw any of my images printed, I was like, it worked.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I did it,
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I can't express enough how important that seeing your when you get to a certain point, not even when you get to a certain point, I think just seeing that your image printed is kind of a cementing factor.
Absolutely.
I have never actually printed any of my high altitude shots
No way.
ever.
Wow.
And considering just how much time we spend crafting it, both in camera and post, I want to print one.
Let's do it.
Okay, so printing and preparing your images for print it's a skill. And it's one, admittedly, that I don't necessarily know. Like usually I'm going into the printing lab and I'm like, here's the thumbnail drive and
Right.
But to have that skill as a creator and that kind of ultimate control over it, I think is something that is important for everybody to learn. So luckily we have Dave from Canon Imaging here today.
Woo!
and he's going to talk us through the process of prepping our image and exporting it properly, and then getting these images and turning them into photos.
Perfect. I mean, I do have my Pro 1000 with me. I'm always down to learn more, so anything Dave can show us, very excited.
Okay guys, we are here today with Dave from Canon Imaging, and he's going to walk through some of the settings that we should know before we export our images to be printed.
Now, you did all your editing, correct?
Yes.
So far right now?
Yep.
And you're happy with how this looks, right? And you're happy with it as well?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so this is a really nice shot. So what I want to do now is I'm going to show you my workflow after we've done our editing.
Okay.
Into the print settings. We're going to use a program from Canon. It's called Professional Print and Layout. I have it as a plugin. So we're going to hit File. We're going to go to Plugin Extras. And we're going to open Canon Professional Print and Layout. Might look a little intimidating at first, but the best thing I can explain to do is go from the top right straight down, right? And basically just answer your questions. We're going to be printing on a photo paper. I think this might look good on a Pro Platinum. That's a very glossy, shiny paper. To make it really easy, we decide borderless or bordered, and I'll let you guys decide, right? So I tend to prefer printing with a border because it's kind of like a natural frame, but some people like borderless, and it's just a tick box here that we do.
I like the border.
Yeah, I like the border also just for the fact that, you know, if you're going to be printing it, maybe there's going to be some matting involved in that, right? So
that's a really great point.
If you're
Yep.
allowing for some space there for your framer to work with, you're not losing any of the information on the photo either.
Yep, that's 100% a great point to think about. Now, all of our settings are correct, but we are here in Manhattan, in Miss Hatton's area, right? We're humid on the East Coast, are we not?
We are.
Super humid, we're super high right now, right? So we need to consider that that can change the way our ink and our paper reacts. So to get around this without getting super complicated, one of the things I could do is if I choose color settings here, I could just do something called a pattern print. It's basically a contact sheet.
Wow. See, I never knew how to do
Exactly. So you print this out, and then this is kind of like printer adjustment for dummies, right? I do this, I hit print, I hold it up to the wall, and I go, that one. And I circle it, and it tells me the settings to put in from there.
Whoa.
that. So cool.
Yep. So I could do this in color, or I could do this in brightness and contrast. Generally, brightness and contrast is going to be the one that's more important. Now, generally, I will say if you're doing the top left image or the bottom right image as your selection, you've probably done something very wrong, because that means your editing or your monitor is probably way off. So you normally want to be somewhere closer in the middle. Now, this is really important because where are you putting the image? If it's hanging on your wall, you have a bunch of beautiful images hanging on the wall. And as we know, the way the light hits the image can change how it looks. So I always say, do a pattern print and put it where you're ultimately going to display it.
Wow.
And say, this is how I want it to look. And then I print it that way. All right, you guys ready to do a print?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, guys, so we went through the whole printing process. We decided to go with the Pro Luster paper. Here it is in glorious 17 by 22. Go ahead, guys, pick it up. Tell me what you think.
Oh my God. This is amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow, I really love it. That's great. That's great.
Look at the details and the colors.
Yeah, and just like the difference in the light here as it comes through, that you can see that. That's incredible. That's incredible.
You honestly, you killed it with the shot.
Oh, thanks.
I want this.
Well then, it's yours.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait, no,
absolutely.
stop.
No, for
I
real.
can keep it?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Will you sign it for me?
I will. I
Oh
will.
my
Yeah.
God. Nice throw. That was amazing. Amazing. You have no idea. This guy's going to the moon one day. I'm just legendary.
Well,
Nice.
Congratulations, guys. Enjoy it. Can't wait to see it on your wall.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you so much, man.
Thank
I
you,
really
man.
appreciate
Appreciate
you
it.
coming and helping
Thank
us
you.
out.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Nice.
Awesome.